What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of The Long Dark. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little bit next to our lovely little wooden stove. My friend had one of these when I was a kid. It was up in their living room. Just one of those old cast iron stoves, just like mounted into the brickwork. It was really warm. That thing could heat up a house. Like, they don't build stuff like that anymore. That's one thing that I'm noticing. Like, as I get older, is they just don't build stuff the same anymore. Like, stuff back in the old days was expensive, but damn, did it last. So what we need to do right now, in the previous episode, we gotten ourselves a gun. We got some basic supplies, which means that we're doing very, very well right now. We're a little bit encumbered, and so what I'd like to do is let's cook up some dinner, shall we? I think it's a decent idea to eat the venison before it goes bad, and so we'll cook that on up. I know that our caloric intake has been incredibly low over the course of the last day. That's because I prefer to hustle, like really, really hard. I get my ace hood on, and I hustle as hard as possible the first day to get as many things finished as possible. I'm going to make some herbal tea. Oh, we need potable water in order to do it, so that's the other thing that we probably want to do. Let's melt some snow down. It's going to take a while to do it, but if we can get ourselves... Oh, fantastic, we're dehydrated. That'll actually kill us pretty quickly, and we're starving. Alright, so we're going to have to dig into our supplies right now for a moment. I'll probably, since it's the quickest, I'll probably just use some of these sodas to balance ourselves out, and so that should get rid of our hydration issues. We should be pulling into the hydration station, as far as I know, and so there it is. That'll keep us squared away a little bit better. It helped out a tad with our thirst, although I wouldn't recommend sodas as the drink to go to, simply based on the fact that they have a lot of sodium in them and they have a lot of sugar, and those two things are going to dry you out pretty quickly, give you the old diarrhea. You might end up with the squirts out in nature, and that'll be no fun, especially if you're doing it on an empty stomach. Your body's ability to process sugars and things gets kind of weird when you're on an empty stomach, so... There it is. We're in a little bit better shape than we were before. The stove looks like it's only got an hour and a half left to go. I think that I'll use some of the fir firewood right now. And it's going to be very, very important that we isolate for ourselves a solid... Did we finish the non-potable water before I look? We did. Okay. So we need to boil the water. We need to isolate a supply of water for ourselves. A lot of people might not think that when you're surrounded by snow that it would be a situation where you could get dehydrated and die in, but people tend to underestimate the amount of sweating that they do when they're out in the snow. And so just because you are surrounded by frozen water all over the place does not necessarily mean that you have an amazing water supply that's just sitting there waiting for your perusal. You've actually got to go through the effort of getting some of this stuff taken care of. I'm actually going to try and make as much purified water as possible in this episode as I can, just to let you know what my goal is for right now. If we can get ourselves, I don't know if we have the time to do another 5 liters, but if we can, that's what I'd prefer to do. If we can't get the liters, then we'll be a follower, I suppose. But for right now... Were we able to boil off? Yeah, there it is. We were actually able to boil off. I figure... Let's go and make some pinnacle peaches. We'll heat these up. I've never had hot peaches before, except like in cobblers and things of that nature. So I'm not really sure how this is going to benefit us. But hey, let's go for it. I've never had hot peaches aside from in desserts, but it sounds good to me. Anything that warms up the internals. You get something that sticks to your ribs. Some of that oatmeal, you know what I mean? So we've got some hot peaches up in here. Let's see if we can get those all into our gullet. Where are you hiding at, hot peaches? We got some hot peaches right there. Okay, and so the hot peaches now, what's the difference between hot and cold food in this? Not really much, except that it gives you a buff versus the cold outside. So when you eat something hot, it sticks to your ribs, just like I said, and it actually raises your core body temperature so that you can deal with the cold better. I'm going to eat that for right now because we are looking a little bit low on the caloric intake. You don't have to worry about it that much. Like, it's not something that you have to keep topped off all the time. I am going to harvest this sweater right here for its parts while we have some free time. Part of survivalism is really sort of making the best use of your time as well. So let me finish one diatribe after the next here. Isolating water. So isolating water is incredibly important because when you're out in the snow, you actually have a higher caloric burn. You also sweat a lot more than you realize, and you just tend to not really sort of put a beat on it because you're wearing a lot of clothing or whatever it is, and so you don't realize how much you're sweating. Additionally, if it's a very, very arid environment where it's snowing but it's very, very dry out, that arid environment will suck the moisture out of your skin physically. Like, that's a thing that happens, and so it drains your moisture just passively, even if you're not sweating or doing anything important. And so you've got to pay attention. That's facts that you've got to be aware of while you go through this situation. And so isolating yourself a very real, sustainable source of water is important. Now, we don't know how many hours of night we have left. I'm going to rest for 6 hours. That's going to cost us 450 calories. We should have to... With this game, they still haven't quite tuned the thirst just yet. You do have to wake up... Oh, actually, we made it to daytime, so we almost stayed up all night just doing, like, random stuff. It's 7 degrees Celsius in here. What I like to do is I just like double that and then I add 32 to it. I realize that's not the best way to... It's not going to give you an accurate reading from Celsius to Fahrenheit, but I use Fahrenheit. I like everything in-game in metric except for the temperature. I leave that in Fahrenheit. And so if you're looking for a conversion real fast, just double it and add 32. And so as of right now, it'll feel like it's, 14 plus 32, so 46, 50 degrees in here. It's manageable. It's cold, but it's not that cold. We can also forage wood from right here if we wanted to do that, but it takes a lot of calories, so I would stay away from it for right now. I'm going to eat some beef jerky. Actually, what do we have over here? Chocolate and nuts. We have 7 bullets for the rifle, so let's get that loaded before we head out. As I recall, it has a 10-round magazine. Oh, it has a 5-round... No, it has a 10-round magazine. And the only thing that we haven't taken care of right now, speaking of magazines, the newspaper's right there. We haven't taken care of the safe, so let's take a look here. This is going to be sort of a tense process, I suppose, up until we find what we're looking for. We're relying on my old man reflexes to turn this into a profitable location here. Oh, there it is right there. So it's at 43. I almost always overleap it on the first time around. So let's go around the horn one more time. There it is. We'll take this back very, very slow. The problem is that if I had myself maybe like an Xbox controller or something, you could actually do this in a context-sensitive way where you could go really, really slow. The thing is, I'm using a keyboard right now, which means I have to tap my fingers. So we got tumbler number 2. This doesn't actually work the way that my locks worked, I guess, growing up, where you had to go, you went right to the number, you went left to the number, then you went right all the way around the horn again, I think is how it worked. Maybe you went all the way around the horn to the left. I don't know. It's been a while since I had like a locker, but still. I know for a fact you didn't just bounce back and forth between the numbers. You actually had to do, in between one of the iterations, you had to do like a full run around the horn. You had to go past 0 again. Ah, shit. Okay, so we missed it right there. So we got to go back up to 43. I don't know if it resets itself. It doesn't, so we got to go all the way around the horn again. Damn it. 43. I don't remember what the second number was, but I remember it was pretty far back here, so we could probably get away with just... Oh, it wasn't that far back. It was like 17. Okay. I thought we went back. Well, never mind then. What do I know about anything? All the way back around. There it is. Okay, so it's 17 or something over here. There it is. It's like 20, so I underestimated where it was. And then on this side, we missed it around the 40 region, wasn't it? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was talking. Anytime that I talk, my brain shuts down slightly, so we'll just go real slow in here. Picking a lock like this, by the way, just like feeling out a safe, this is not like a thing most people are capable of doing. This actually requires a very, very trained ear. Typically nowadays, especially with modern safes, you've got to like drill your way through them and do all kinds of crazy stuff. They have like different like panels and all kinds of ridiculous Kevlar type lining things, and I don't know. There it is right there. Oh, a premium weather coat. I'd rather have a post-mium weather coat because that means that it's been finished, but I'll take it. That seems like the kind of treasure that you would want to be locked up in here. And so in the interest of us being able to stay out in the cold longer, I think it's a good idea that we repair this bad boy. It takes 3 cloth and it's going to cost us, it's going to do a 50% repair though. Let's go for it. Come on, don't fail me. My needlework skills, I don't have any, but there it is. Apparently our character is competent and able to repair that jacket. And so let's take a comparison. So this gives us 3 degrees of warmth by comparison to, I think we're using a down jacket right now, which gives us 0.9. So that's a major, major find for us right now. We're actually starting off really, really, really strong in this playthrough. Got some jeans over here. I'll probably harvest those real fast. Just get rid of the materials because we don't need them. We are hiking a lot of stuff across the map right now. I'm going to try and set up in the foresters, or I'm sorry, in the ski lodge, I think. I don't want to eat too many of these because they seem, I don't know if they bug out or by design they stop being worth anything after you eat a couple of them. I haven't decided just yet. We can also harvest this so that we don't have to carry it around with us. I don't think that we can wear it over our jacket, so there it is. We'll harvest that. I'll probably end up harvesting a lot of the extra stuff that we have right. Oh, we're dehydrated. Let's drink some agua then. We'll throw that on down the pipe. And so there it is. Now that we've been properly hydrated or low-drated, I don't know what our altitude is right now. Our hunger's looking pretty bad. Still going to try and save the MRE for later because it's just too valuable of loot to not use. We do have a firearm, so if we end up finding an animal, we can shoot it, and then we can harvest it for all of its random parts. They did nerf the amount of meat that you get from animals, so that should help out a little bit. We'll eat a whole bunch of candy. I can't do that anymore. When I was younger, I could eat a whole bunch of candy, but nowadays, if I eat a whole bunch of candy, I just start to feel off. I just get like this. It's not like a shaky feeling. It's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like a weird feeling in my bones when I eat too much candy. And because we're encumbered right now, this is going to make for a long walk back to the ski lodge. We could dump off some supplies back here, but we're so far encumbered, and we do need to bring this stuff back with us where I don't think it'll really help that much. The temperature's got to be bad right now because we've got really, really good gear. So, oh, we're sitting at minus 12. Alright, well, let's get to hiking. I don't know if I should edit this out or not, if this is like a thing that I should no longer show off. However, if you're trying to get back to the place that you came from, my recommendation would be just to follow the river this way. It looks like our snare was not profitable. That's okay, I didn't expect it to be anyways. The snare took a pretty brutal hit in the last patch, and so... The hell was that noise? I have no clue what that was, but it did not sound friendly. Now, the ballistics of this game continue to elude me. I'm going to point that out right now. My accuracy is going to be less than satisfactory. Hey, that kind of almost meant my accuracy is less than satisfactory. Well, it's close. I think it's just the A sound. I think that if you wanted accuracy to rhyme with anything, you would have to go with, I don't know, you'd have to start with the front syllable being rhymed up and then just sort of like half rhyme the second half. But anyways, what you could do right here is around this stone bend, just around the river bend, to quote Pocahontas, we're walking slowly because we're encumbered right now, by the way. In case you were worried about it, I would follow this river bend, and once you come up and around these rocks right here, oh, there is a rabbit over on this side. I don't know, a 308 round seems like it would just blow a rabbit to smithereens. It seems like it would be a little bit too much. Typically, you hunt rabbits with like either a 22 or even something smaller. The deer's running off. He's aware of us. His eyesight is unfortunately much better than it was the last time that we played the game. However, this might be an okay place to lay down a snare later on. I got a pretty good bunny quotient going on. There are several bunnies right here, and they all seem to be gallivanting around in a bunnyish fashion. So you follow this to the right around the stone, you're going to find a dead body on this side alongside a tree. And in fact, sometimes there will be crows up in the air picking at the body. And so there it is, actually. You can see the ravens getting ready to eat his flesh. All of his flesh is now the raven's flesh, which will go into their tummy and be converted into literal raven flesh. We're hiking too much stuff right now. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of loot on us. Maybe I should have stopped off on that side and dropped stuff off inside the lodge. But the thing that I was concerned about, why I didn't stop at the lodge, is that when I tend to stop there, I tend to just like start organizing things and just doing like inventory management. And I know that's not the most entertaining thing to watch. And so, oh look, there's another hatchet out here. Being pretty lucky as far as the hatchets are concerned. We should be able to find a lot of loot with these. They allow you to actually accelerate the experience when you're trying to find like wood or anything. You can go right here and you can forage wood, and it accelerates the process. It makes you much more efficient at finding random stuff. However, it's also making us much more efficient at walking slow as shit, and so that's really, really unfortunate. I think what I may do is I'm not going to cut this for the reason we're warmer right now. Oh good, it's actually warming up. That'll be nice. So what I'm doing is I'm not cutting this because I'm trying to teach you all how to navigate properly. We can't sprint at all right now because we're going uphill, so you'll just have to deal with that. Once you get to the tree, I would just cut over the top of this hill right here. What that's going to do is it's going to put you up against a stone face right here. Follow the stone face until you find the trail track or the railroad tracks. Then you're just going to head left along the railroad tracks. It'll take you back to the ski lodge. And so there it is. You've learned how to navigate inside the long dark. Now, there are a lot of things that I'd like to accomplish right here. I think the next place we're going to hit is the dam and the train tracks. There's like a, I suppose like a wrecked train. It's a literal, I guess it's a train wreck. That's the word that I was looking for. I don't know why I'm stumbling over that right now, but there's a train wreck down here. And as the saying goes, everybody loves to stare at a train wreck. And so that's what we're going to do. Additionally, we may go out on a hunting day and just see how much meat we can get out of the situation. It also depends on how warm we can keep ourselves while we're out here. I may also play around with fishing in this episode, depending on, it's all time dependent. This gun used to have a barrel on it, didn't? I'm looking at the gun right now, and it seems very, very snubbed out. I seem to recall the gun had a barrel on it. That creaking like Sam Squanch noise out there is making me nervous, and I don't like it very much. Let me do a cut for right now. Once we get back to the ski lodge, I've already told you how to get there. This walking slow shit does not do it for me, and it's killing me. I hate it so much. I hate it so much, and so we're just going to keep walking. I'm going to turn off the camera and we'll come back once we're there. Alright, welcome back everybody. Sorry about that. I made that big old cut right there because seriously, actually with my timer running, it was about a 15-minute walk for us to get back to base. It took a while. The camp office is going to be our home from now on, and so this is typically where I set up my operation. I don't want to be too aggressive. I don't want to light up any red noses right now, but this tends to be the place that I operate out of just because it's sort of centralized on the map. It gives you options. You can go anywhere from here, and it tends to work out. Do we have a lamp or anything? We don't have a lamp. Alright, since we have no lamps, I guess that means we won't be getting our Aladdin on anytime soon. No wishes to be granted here. Then again, if you had wishes to be granted, why would you end up in the middle of the Canadian wilderness with no supplies, crashing your plane, all that fun stuff? I'd have been using up those wishes real quick. We'd be in the plane. I'd be like, Genie! Genie, make me not fall out of this. I wish that I was no longer falling out of the sky. And the genie be like, that's a good one right there. That's a good one right there. Let's go ahead and get that. There's a little bit of a conflict of interest here because I'm in the plane with you and my lamp is in the plane. And so I'm thinking we may, oh, good, there's a bedroll down in here. Is there anything under there? There's almost always a magnifying lens under the bed. I haven't had a chance to use it too much yet. As I understand, it's a fire starting device. Allows you to make fires as long as the sun is out, but
I think I can use this.
there's ourselves a toque right there. I think that's what it was called. People corrected me on this, and I kept calling it like a togue or a toque or something like that in my first playthrough. People were like, no, it's called a toque. And it was basically, it's like hobbits. Fool of a toque. Let's go ahead and dump off some of our stuff right here. I really, really enjoy house making and just like making sure that everything is in the location where I want it. And so for right now, let's take a look at the wood supplies that we brought back with us. We've got quite a bit of cedar firewood, so let's drop all those right here. We got a little bit of fir firewood, so we're going to drop all of those. That's already taken off a considerable amount of our weight. The other thing, we've got cattails up and in here. I'll probably drop those just because they're a little bit heavy and we don't need them. We got a 1/2 kilogram book for starting fires right there. The cattail stalks are going to be for food later on, so I'm not going to drop those in this spot. I'm going to try and keep things organized because it makes it much, much simpler to find the things that you need when you're running around the game. We used up all of our reclaimed wood, which is fine. The gun's going to be a little bit heavy. The way that we go through this, I would recommend personally harvesting, or maybe, I don't know, saving, whether saving or harvesting these is a better plan. Let's make a tool drawer for right now. It's going to be a drawer that we keep all of our tools in. Obviously, I think that carrying around like 8 axes is not going to be that great of a thing to aspire to unless we're planning on becoming some kind of like Viking berserker destroyer, and then in that case, yes, 2 axes would probably help out. We are starving to death at the moment. Probably put the, I'm going to keep the snare on me, actually. We don't need to carry 2 of those. Put the metal in there. Other useful stuff laying around. I don't think we need the flare. Since we have a gun, I don't think I'm going to bring a flare along. We got basic gloves. I'll probably break those down in just a moment. I'll probably keep the antiseptic in there because we don't need a lot of it. Antibiotics, I don't think we need either. I don't recall when you use antibiotics now that I'm thinking about it. Accelerant I'm going to keep on me just in case because I've frozen to death too many times because I didn't have accelerant. I couldn't get a fire started out in the middle of nowhere, and so I just tend to carry it with me in the off chance that I need it. We've got the gut. Let's put that in there. Okay, we've got all that taken care of. Let's get all of this food situated. It's going to use up that space pretty quickly, but it'll get rid of some of this weight too, which is the part that I'm really concerned about. So that's done quite a bit for us right now. We do have a lot of newspapers and things. I think we should probably take a minute. How are we looking on our hunger? It's looking really, really bad. I don't want to eat that MRE simultaneously. How's our weight looking? We're still over encumbered. Shit. Okay, let's drop the bedroll. I'm going to eat some of these real fast because I think that's what I carry them around for anyways. They're not very filling, and I think that after you eat a certain amount of them, they stop counting. Like, I think you can only eat like 4 or 5 before they become worth 0 calories. I don't know if that was a bug or not. It happened to me in my previous playthrough where I ate these until, like, I don't know. I had like 10 of them. Like, I ate a lot of them, and then eventually they just stopped counting. It said 0 calories under this little entry right here, so I don't know what else to say about it. It may or may have been a bug. It may or may not have been a bug. I'll have to reconfirm it and figure out what it does. Either way, that did help out with our hunger by quite a bit, actually, and so now we might be able to go out and hunt for a little while. I think I'm going to go out and try and shoot something because that seems to be the best way to go about doing this. Whether a wolf or a deer, I think our best prospect. I'm going to get rid of the axe for right now because I don't think we need it. I'm going to keep the hunting knife and the gun, though, because we are hunting, so there it is. I've got a little bit of cloth right there that's actually weighing us down slightly, too, so I may try and put that inside of our gear slot right now. I'll take the newsprint and throw it in there, too. Just because that stuff adds up. It definitely adds up. And so I'll probably have like an excess clothing pile off in the corner somewhere. We'll get it all sorted out in just a minute, literally. But for right now, did I hit this entire place? I just jumped the entire stairwell. That's a great way to break your legs. So we got a jerry can over here. That's going to be good for refilling our lanterns. We got pork and beans. We've got tomato soup. We got another can opener, which you don't really appreciate. Oh, look, there's one falling back behind there. Pork and beans. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. So even on like my 8th or 9th playthrough, I'm still seeing like random stuff happen in episodes that I've never seen before. Let's go through all the cabinets. How much time do we have left? 5 hours. A little bit of a precarious spot to be in to start looking for supplies. We got another antiseptic right there. Nobody ever talks about Uncle Septic, though. We've got this on this side. We've got some reclaimed wood. Yes, I will take you. Absolutely. Welcome to my inventory. Have anything in this drawer right here? You can search this drawer. So I've seen a lot of people skip over the drawers on random locations. I may have in fact done it. We've got another line right there that we can use for fishing. It's a little bit dark, I understand, but I don't want to waste my fuel right now. We got a sewing kit, a candy bar. That's kind of a weird first aid kit. It's just like a sewing kit and a candy bar. I'm like, well, chew on this while I sew you shut. I don't really have any other implements to make this happen, but hopefully the candy will make you feel better. Wonder if I can get him from right here. I think deer have eyes on the sides of their heads, so if you approach, I don't know what their peripheral vision looks like. Still, I think you want to shoot them in the heart or the neck if you're trying to get this done. The ballistics in this game elude me. I've never been able to fully lock them down and do them properly and consistently, so if I miss this shot, you'll all just have to forgive me. Ah, he's on to me. He heard me. I don't know how he heard me, but he did. And so that means he's going to be off and running, I think. That's not a long shot, but I don't know if the bullet drops in this game either. I like to hunt the wolves a little bit better because they come to you. Makes the shot a lot easier. They actually try and rush you. The deer, on the other hand, he's hanging out by that tree. I tend to miss when I take shots at the deer because they're always moving away from me. Try and stay low on him, I guess. Nah, he's onto us. I don't know if there's bullet travel time or anything either, and bullets are at a premium right now. I think we only have like 7 of them. Where'd my bullets go? They're in my gun. Luckily enough, the hunting rifle is in really, really good shape. I think I only have 7 rounds, which means that in this case, if you're in a survival situation, you really, if you've got bullets, there's a lot of things you can use a bullet for. You can drain out a bullet and use the powder to start a fire if you don't have a way to start a fire, if you're really, really bad at the hand method, which I am. I don't know how to make a fire bow in real life. I don't think I've ever done it before. And then starting a fire by hand using either like a... what the hell is that thing called? A fire sled or whatever it is. You've got like the piece of wood on the bottom, you carve a notch into it, and then you take the piece of, it's what he did in Castaway, and then you slide the wood back and forth until you get it to start. Not so efficient at that one either. I've given that one a go, and I can get smoke going on that one, but it's an acquired thing. Honestly, the more that you try and start fires by hand, the better you get at it. We're encumbered right now. Oh, it's because of our fatigue. Our fatigue's too high. Alright, well, let's just wait it out for right. Well, we need to shoot something, though. I think it would be a decent plan for us to put a round across something. And if we can kill ourselves like a wolf or something and allow us to refill our stomachs, then we'll have the caloric intake we need for the next day in order to get things really, really done. Although cold isn't a problem, we may have better luck with fishing. That's what I'm thinking right now. We may have better luck with fishing. And so since we've taken care of that, I'm actually going to go out onto the ice and let's see if we can chip a hole out there. We've got how much time left? 4 hours? Presumably that means we've got about 3 hours of equitable light left before we can start... or before we have to head back from fishing when we start freezing to death. We've also got the gear to fish. Fishing in this game kind of sucks if you don't have really, really good gear. If you have like a bad run where you have terrible RNG and you just don't have the clothing, fishing's not going to work out so well for you because you're going to freeze to death before you catch anything each time. However, fishing actually got buffed in the last patch, I think, and so I may see if we can catch ourselves some bass or some trout or anything else. I don't really know what this river has. I think I've caught bass out of it before, and then I think I've gotten whitefish, which I don't know what a whitefish is, but we don't have whitefish around here. We have rainbow trout, we have German brown, we have bass, we have salmon if you wanted to drive to get there. We also have sturgeon and halibut. I've caught shark. I've also caught, I mean, we go crab fishing out here a lot too. Mud bugging if you want to. We've got a little bit of hunger fatigue going on. So what we want to do right now is we want to drop the gun. The knife we're going to need for just a minute. We've got line and we've got a hook. And so what I want to do right here is we need to go to the workbench. We'll make ourselves another fishing tackle. I don't know how long this takes.
To rest.
Hey, we are a little tired right now, which is going to suck for us. But if we can bring back dinner, it'll be worth it. Our fatigue is just murdering us right now. Hopefully there's no wolves out on the water. Wolves on the water. Let's see what we got going on out here. I don't see any wolves, so we should be okay. If you're playing the game on stalker mode, there'd be like 10 wolves out here. There'd be like 10 wolves out here, and they just like surround your house, and they wait for you to come out. And then you just close your eyes and you run every single time that you leave your house. You're like, throwing flares up into the air with all of the flare that you can. You know, with like Applebee's and all those places, you know Office Space is the reason why they got rid of flare? Because of Office Space, because they made fun of it so viciously. I always hated that stuff, though. They used to try and pull that at some of my jobs, where they'd be like, oh, you have to wear these buttons. Like, we give you a choice. A drawer, like, full of, like, random stupid buttons with, like, random one-liners and stuff on them. But, like, you have to wear at least 4 of these. You have no choice right now. Like, pick out the ones you want. I don't want to wear them either, but we have to. And I'd be like, oh, man, that sucks. Like, a word of advice to, I don't know. Like, a word of advice to locations, I guess, restaurants with employees. Let me see if I can break the ice right here. A little bit of an icebreaker. We're losing some calories, but I think we can make this work. And if we lose a little bit of our condition, that's perfectly okay. I just want to see if we can get ourselves some fish here. And so I would say just, like, fish the day away. How's that sound? We're losing a little bit of condition right now. There's a smallmouth bass. That'll keep us fed for the night. Hey, we got 2. That'll keep us fed for tomorrow. And a lake whitefish, a common freshwater fish, small but plentiful. Okay. And so now we've got a rather serious walk back to our house in the blizzard. I'm going to do that off camera because obviously we got a long-ass walk in front of us and it's going to be a little bit boring. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerdcast for the next episode of The Long Dark. I very much enjoy everything related to survivalism and things like this, so I look forward to giving you more tips in the future. Take care out there, everybody, and I will see you in the next episode. Hi-do.